I think if somebody were looking at this screen and all of us were quiet and they looked at the pictures, they might think our next guest was actually the one who was heading this up. Because if I'm not mistaken, Miss Woods, is that a microphone in front of you?
Yeah, I went professional on y'all.
She comes with her own props.
I'm thinking that, so is there like a theme song before you start to talk or something?
Building Community is an award-winning video series created by the Chester Housing Authority to stay in better touch with its residents, staff, and the general public during these times of social isolation. Thank you for tuning in as Executive Director Steve Fisher and Ulysses Butch Slaughter bring interesting guests to discuss important topics of the day.
Ulysses Butch Slaughter here with Steve Fisher of Building Community. This is the Chester Housing Authority's platform for staying connected with residents, with supporters, in and outside of Chester for that matter. And we're going to be talking today with three business owners who've been doing some very hard work, some faces you may recognize, maybe you don't recognize them, but today you're going to get to know three incredible business owners here in the city of Chester. But before we get into that, I want to introduce Steve Fisher, who is the executive director of the Chester Housing Authority. We've been at this now, what's this, episode number 23, Steve?
22.
22. I'm ahead of myself.
Somebody's got to keep the books.
Thank you so much, sir. Good to have this group of people with us, man. This is like, these are some fresh faces.
Yeah, want to thank first, right off the bat, let's thank them individually and mention why they come to be with us today, which is through their businesses. So you've got Angelique. I'm going the order they are on my screen. I don't know how everyone else is seeing this. Angelique Hunter is to my right, or yeah, whatever. Thanks for waving. That'll clear up any discrepancies here. Angelique Hunter is with Smith Flooring. Has been for all the years I've known her, and she's agreed to talk with us today. Veronica Woods, Woods Real Estate, is that the right name? I know
Daniel Woods Real Estate.
Daniel Woods Real Estate. Okay, offices right downtown in Chester, or over town, as they say. And Amanda Johnson. We're kind of flipping the camera around today to have Amanda Johnson, because I know I've been on the receiving end of her interview shows. So now we're going to turn the tables a little bit and give her a taste of her own medicine. Hope she likes it. So, it's, I've known you by a few different names over the years. Amanda has Joy, something with voices in it. What's your current name, logo that you want to be known by?
Amanda Johnson, co-owner of Visions Video Productions.
Okay. And probably no stranger to a lot of people that will tune into this, because you've got at least one current series of video productions that you're doing. Well, rather than me guessing which is which, why don't you just tell us?
Well, we have a couple flat platforms. We decided to do partnering a little more after the pandemic. So I've partnered with Making a Change Group. So I do their community spotlight on Wednesdays. I actually just did my first show on CMP Radio on Sunday morning at 7:30. I have a show in Philly on the Philly Cam Network. I do the hosting for the Philly Cam News, but then I also have my own show on Philly Cam that airs on Wednesdays at 9:30. Then we have Chester View, where we do spotlights in the city of Chester. So that's just a couple of my platforms that we currently have going, and we have some projects going as well that we can talk about. I know we got to get through the good stuff first.
So is the good stuff then introducing everybody else, Amanda? Is that what you mean?
Hey, everybody we have. So no, not let them introduce themselves. I don't think
You're
I
here to
can top
hijack our
Biden.
show, Steve.
I don't think I can top Biden. So I got to let her talk about that. I'm sorry.
Well, who
Well-
would you be talking about?
All right.
Tell
Since,
us who.
all right. Well, since she's decided to go there right off the bat, Smith
Right.
Flooring, Smith Flooring in its spare time when it's not being the premier installer of new flooring in your home or business, hosts presidents of the United States,
And our
just to make the time go by.
When they're bored, right?
All right, so Angelique, fill the audience in on what the heck we're talking about.
yeah, so that was a very exciting moment for our family. Just to give a quick background, my name's Angelique Hunter, third generation contractor, Smith Flooring Inc., and we're based on 9th and Townsend in Chester, PA. Have been there for 6 years. And Joe Biden was our warehouse was his first stop on his tour, American tour. And I think that's just because he was close in Delaware. So he just picked Smith Flooring, but we've made that connection through our congresswoman who did us a short visit with us last year and talked to us about issues that we were having as minority contractors in a small minority business. We discussed those issues with her thoroughly, and she discussed that with Joe Biden, who decided to pay us a visit. So very, very.
The congressman who was that?
Oh my God, I can't remember her name.
I can help you with that. That would probably be Mary Gay Scanlon.
Yes.
I win the prize, Steve.
You
What do I get?
Thank you for having me out there.
Same thing we always offer on this show, nothing.
So Congresswoman Scanlon came last year and spoke with my parents in detail about some of the issues that they were having, and one of those issues being mostly funding and the accessibility to capital for small minority businesses. And she was really great with kind of connecting us to programs and other resources, and we were able to then continue that conversation with Joe Biden and the PPP loan, which my parents took full advantage of. We're able to keep all of our installers on for the entire pandemic. We didn't lose anybody on our team. So it was great.
That is amazing. Before we go on to our next guest here, I think if somebody were looking at this screen and all of us were quiet and they looked at the pictures, they might think our next guest was actually the one who was heading this up. Because if I'm not mistaken, Ms. Woods, is that a microphone in front of you?
Yeah, I went professional on y'all.
She comes with her own props.
I'm thinking that, so is there like a theme song before you start to talk or something?
Well, I do a little video. I don't have as many platforms as my colleague Amanda there, but I have a little YouTube channel where I give out real estate wisdom on a regular basis. So yeah, I got a little equipment.
So you were going back before we get started here. You were talking about the name of your company, which is actually called Daniel Woods. Talk to us some about Daniel Woods Real Estate.
Yeah, so Daniel Woods Real Estate was founded by my dad, Daniel Woods, in 1987. So I'm a second generation realtor. I actually come from a family of entrepreneurs that in different businesses, from hair salon owners, auto repair folks. So entrepreneurship is definitely something in my blood, although I did not come directly into the family business. I've pretty much been leading the charge for the last 4 or 5 years in the business. And so it's something really that I'm proud of, to be able to take the torch from my dad and kind of continue the company, the next generation.
I want to ask a quick question about the whole real estate thing. I moved into a home right around the time of the pandemic, and real estate companies were taking some real hits because there was a time where people couldn't even get in to see houses. They weren't even allowing people in to see homes. What was the last year like for you? when it came to selling and showing and the things that are so essential to real estate?
Yeah, it was interesting, as compared to my peers who do what I do across the country. Pennsylvania took a much more conservative approach in terms of real estate was not deemed essential. So we were essentially closed down for, I guess, 6 to 8 weeks, where we were not legally able to. I think the president of our state association said if you leave your house to go to another house, that's a violation. So he made it very clear what we could and could not do. So it was a scary time. I must admit, because I think we all were forced to kind of reinvent ourselves, so to speak, and technology became a lot more important. Meeting with people on Zoom when people were used to kind of sitting across the table from each other became important. But interesting enough, the market, as soon as things were able to leave the house, the buyers' demand were really kind of pent up because a lot of people, were in living situations that they weren't happy with, and they weren't sure if they could kind of be able to sustain the pandemic living, with whoever they were living with. Definitely some interesting stories there. But so with mortgage rates low and buyers' demand being up, it's been a really busy year, unprecedented year for a lot of us, really across the country. This is not really a Chester, Philadelphia story. It's really a national story.
I got a little real estate thing that we experienced during COVID, which we didn't even realize as far as a video company, that it was even an option. We had a friend who was selling her house, and she's like, I need help. I'm like, okay, what do you need? Let me know. She's like, we need a virtual tour. I'm like, what is a virtual tour? I'm like, now we had to look it up to find out, because she was like, they're charging me thousands of dollars to do this virtual tour. Can you please help me? Because she knew that we did video. So we researched it. It's like, oh, that's nothing. We got this. But we had to get our special device that kind of spins in the room. You just have to be careful in the bathroom because there's a mirror and then you can see the mirrors. But it was interesting because COVID opened up some areas for us that we didn't even know were an option with the virtual tours that everybody was using because they couldn't go anywhere. So the piggyback on that affected a lot of people, but some ways it was a door that we didn't even know was open.